So, digital assets in enforcement and insolvency. Digital assets raise a number of very thorny questions in many respects. You all know the regulatory aspects that have been recently come to the fore, and then also the questions of who owns digital assets and so on. But we have picked a very peculiar but increasingly important question, which is how do you actually get access to the digital assets of your debtor? If you have a debtor, one of the most convenient ways to hide the wealth for the debtor is to buy crypto. Recently had a very nice seminar with a colleague from Slovenia who wanted to talk about crypto and family law. And I said, like, so what's specific about crypto and family law? And he said, well, it's when the husband invests in crypto and hides from the wife how much crypto he has. It's a very easy way, and I didn't even cross my mind. But of course, also for debtors, it's a very easy way. And then the question for the creditors, of course, is how do we get access to these assets that are stored on a blockchain that is distributed around the world, pseudonymous, nobody knows who is behind it, how much they hold. How do we find them? Of course, if they use one of our esteemed intermediaries like Bitpanda, and we have Philip Born here from Bitpanda, then at least we have some hook, we have some real world entity where we can at least ask, but can we really ask? Under which law? Which authorities? How do I do that? The Austrian Act on Enforcement, Exekutionsordnung, just says, well, you can enforce into these things, but it actually doesn't say how you do it. So that is one big aspect that we are treating. And the second one is insolvency. And well, at the time that we started, Christian Koller just said it, there had been some insolvencies in the past, Mt. Gox and so on. But then FTX happened while we were working on this. And of course, an international insolvency with many asset holders around the world and questions of applicable law jurisdiction and how do you actually do this. And that's always the crucial question, what are the rights of the holders in the insolvency of an intermediary? Do they have, for instance, a property right? Or are they mere money creditors? If they have a property right, how do they actually get the assets? Will they perhaps be sold by the insolvency administrator? Can transfers of crypto be avoided by the insolvency administrator? On all of these questions. And what's fascinating is these questions are not entirely new, but the asset is new, completely new, and raises incredibly difficult questions. And we thought, and we still think, it's worth to study this from a comparative perspective because these questions are raised all over the world. And although the background of the national legal systems is different, the questions are often the same, and it's interesting and inspiring to see how they are solved in other jurisdictions. Moreover, most of these questions are raised in the cross-border context, so you have to consider somehow also other legal systems. And the legal systems that we looked to are actually from 3 continents. We have 20 authors from America, from Europe, and from Asia. We have not so much encouraged country reports. It's more transversal, so each author looks at a different topic and, of course, presents it primarily from its own jurisdiction, but tries to take a look also at other jurisdictions. So we have, I'm just naming a few, we have Austria, Germany, France, UK, but also then Singapore, Canada, or Japan, right? And many other European jurisdictions that I don't even mention here. And we have really quite esteemed experts From the academic side, just mentioning Louis Gulliver from Cambridge, really an expert in property law and English property law. But we also have the experts from the practitioners, like Oliver for Austria, and then we have Nicky Yu for the UK, Hubert de Vauplan for France. These are really the top experts in their jurisdictions who are dealing with that. So what we want to achieve with the book, I think, is give you a practical idea of what you can do and how you can address these issues. But we also want to give some stimulation to legislators to maybe reform the law, because although Austrian law is not bad in comparison to other jurisdictions, it can still be improved and it can still address these questions more specifically. So if you were interested in that book, we would be very happy. You'll find an order form outside, so you get a 20% discount with that, but only with that order form that you find outside. And yeah, thanks again for the invitation, that we can present this here in this wonderful room. I'm extremely happy, and I think Christian as well, that Oliver has made this possible. And now it's my pleasure to announce the keynote. The keynote will be done, I think we could not find anybody better than Philip Born from Bitpanda, which you all know as the leading custodian in Europe, and him as the legal expert of this leading custodian. So it's a big pleasure, and we are looking forward to your keynote.